welcome back to another Parts Factory Australia installation tutorial video. Guys, we're back on the Gold Coast and working on this Ford Falcon. Specifically, probably the reason you're here, we're checking out this coolant tank on this 6-cylinder. Now, the coolant tanks from EL, all the way up until the FG are almost all identical. FG, they changed it up a bit, but it's the same design, guys. So you can actually use this video for all of the models from EL, which is 1995, all the way up into this beautiful 09, 10, 11, etc., etc. Only problem is the tanks are quite large, so you'll lose a lot of coolant onto the ground. So as you can see, I've set up this little drip mat. It's not going to be enough. I'm probably going to put some more rags on it, but realistically, I'm hoping we're going to be able to capture some of the coolant when we pull the hose off, maybe in a bucket, etc. There's a lot of space down there. So I figured we'll get a bucket up in there, capture the most of it, and then this is your drip tray. Stops your coolant from being all over the garage. Now, guys, don't forget, anything Parts Factory does installation tutorials on, we also stock on hand. We have them for the BABF, and we're also gonna get them for the FG. We don't have them just yet, but I am gonna show you what the quality of our tanks look like, just so you can get an understanding. Yes, by the time you're watching this video, we're gonna have it. Alrighty guys, I'm expecting this one to take 10 minutes. Let's jump into it. Now guys, on the BABF and ELs, etc., the bottles are a little bit different design to this. Sit in the same place, mount the same way, have the same number of hoses, and bolt up with two 10 mils. But the reason that you might be replacing it is all around here, you might have a brittle plastic. Basically, sometimes you can even push your finger through it. Obviously, these are a hot sealed system, so they expand, and obviously you cannot have that happen. Coolant will just be all over the floor. So yeah, you need to make sure that you do upkeep this type of thing. It's one of the most important things besides your radiator to keep your car running for a long period of time. Alrighty guys, so a 10 mil, two of them just here, 1 and 2. 1, 2. Now don't forget, you cannot do this job with the car still hot, so let your car cool down for an hour. That's when you can then ask yourself, okay, is it time to pull this cap off? If you can squeeze those hoses and you don't burn your hand, you should be fine. Hear that pressure come through then, and you can just leave your cap somewhere up here. Alrighty guys, so now you need one of these movable or adjustable pliers with a nice grip on the head, and that way you can literally just come in and depending on each hose, you can adjust it to the appropriate position, and you can literally just pop that hose off like that. So as we lift up this tank, we notice that the coolant then gravity feeds out of this hose, no matter where it is. So it went all over the ground. I'm gonna see if we can collect the rest. But yeah, there is no realistic way around it. You can basically pull this off first, put a bucket down there, put the hose in the bucket, then lift the tank up, and it will all rush out of this hose. It's actually quite good because that way it's not all in this tank, if you know what I mean. Okay, so at this point, very similar to the BA, BF, EL, all the same. There's a hose clamp on your bottom tank, on the bottom of the tank. Just pull that clamp and then just grab your pliers, put them to the widest mode that they possibly have, clamp down on the hose without breaking anything, hopefully. You can just rotate that hose until you kind of feel it let go. And then at that point, hopefully you can just wiggle it off and boom, there's your coolant tank. Alrighty guys, so on this FG, you will notice they have this little L bracket. This is different to the EL, AU, BA, etc., etc. On the EL, BA, AU, it's actually just a hose that comes straight out. And of course, that means that there is less parts to replace. However, it does mean if you snap that hose off on the AU, you have to replace your whole tank. So you can see why they did that, just so if this snaps, then they don't have to do everything. On top of that, they have this leg that can break off, and when it does break off, it leaks. And then another thing I wanted to mention is you can see how you have all this kind of like residue build up on the inside of the tank. That obviously reduces the total amount of flow that can come through the tank as well, and it also perishes and breaks down the tanks as well. So everyone knows, or people in the industry anyway, that number one thing you got to be swapping out every 4 or 5 years is your coolant tank. keep them up to scratch. Alrighty guys, let's throw it back in. At this point, I'm hoping that you've already ordered your Parts Factory tank. You've got it sitting in front of you, like so. And of course, we're good to throw it back in. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, take your new tank out of your box. Obviously this is the old one. We're not going to replace this. There's nothing wrong with this tank. Now remember, this leg pops down into that hole first. You can line it all up, and then you bring your big hose over, leaving your small hose where it is for now. And we will slide it on like so, making sure it's all nice and straight. And then of course your hose clamp, you just use your pliers, bring your hose clamp forward. Hopefully you've got a nice set of pliers. If you've got a dodgy set, you'll be struggling. Sometimes it's worth just going and getting the right tools, and you can just make sure the clamp's all straight, loosen off, and try and get it back where it used to sit on the hose. Bang, like that. Okay, and then obviously at that point, you got your two 10 mils, your little top feed hose, which feeds the radiator, or the other way. You can just squeeze that, and then yes, actually sometimes it's better to bring it back on the hose, squeeze the hose on, and then come forward. Now sometimes these hose clamps, oh no, that's all right. Bring it forward, and then yeah, once again putting it in like the same kind of position it was when you first pulled it all off, and then grab your two 10 mils. Yeah, nice and easy. Definitely not hard. This type of job, guys, is something that a mechanic is going to charge you an hour's labor for. So you can see why at Parts Factory, that's our mission. It's to make the average person that's never done something like this realize that they can do this type of thing on their own at their home. Guys, if you do appreciate the video, make sure, if you can, give it a thumbs up. And if this is the type of thing that you are doing, you're doing your own DIY repairs at home, definitely sub to the channel. It's a good channel to have in your toolkit for next time and help you save some money. Alrighty guys, so we have our coolant on the way from the auto shop down the road, but we want to wrap this video up right now. As you can imagine, it's now time to top your coolant up. To do that, fire up your car, take your cap off, like so, have your big bottle of coolant, and then basically tip it in as the car's running. It's gonna suck down that fluid a few times. Keep topping it up and get it up to your fill line on the side of your bottle. And that's it, guys. When you take it for your first drive after doing something like that, you can then bring it home, let it cool down, and check your fluid level again. If it's too low, fill it up, and if it's too high, as long as it's not all the way overflowing, just leave it. You might find there'll be more air in there, and yeah, it'll suck down overnight, etc. Just check it again in the morning. But other than that, that's all good. With coolant, guys, naturally, it's always important to make sure there's no leaks now. So get your car up to operating temperature as discussed, and you can just have a look under the front bar, look for any drips, etc. And of course, look for any steam coming off the motor. If the water's dripping onto the exhaust, you'll obviously see some steam come off the exhaust, etc, etc. Alrighty guys, other than that, my name's Lucas. Thanks for watching another Parts Factory Australia installation tutorial video. Yeah, I'll see you next time.